The bitter wind swept through the desolate playground, rustling the brittle leaves that lay scattered across the cracked pavement. It was a chilly autumn morning, and the world still wore the muted grey hush of dawn. Yet, in a quiet corner near the rusted swing set, something remarkable was unfolding. A little boy, no older than 4, was taking his first wobbly steps under the watchful gaze of a barefoot girl, not much older than 10. Her clothes were tattered, her hands marked with dirt, but her eyes radiated warmth and purpose. She clapped softly and whispered words of encouragement, her voice low yet brimming with hope. Unbeknownst to them, a man dressed in an expensive charcoal suit stood frozen at the edge of the parking lot, his gaze fixed on the scene. Lucas Sterling, a billionaire tech mogul and single father, had come to pick up his son from a specialized therapy session that had been abruptly cancelled. But what he inadvertently stumbled upon left him rooted to the spot. His son, Eli, was born with a neurological condition that impeded his motor skills. Doctors had informed him that his son might never walk. Lucas had invested millions into treatments, brought in the best therapists, and still, Eli had never taken a single step on his own until this moment. And not with a trained professional, but rather with a girl who appeared to have gone days without food. Lucas watched as Eli wobbled, stumbled, and then fell into the girl's arms. With fierce joy, she held him tightly, her smile illuminating her dirt-streaked face. Then, more patiently than any therapist he had ever hired, she helped him back up. Lucas felt a tightness in his throat as he approached. "Excuse me," he said, his voice hesitant. The girl turned, startled, pulling Eli protectively behind her. For a brief moment, her eyes darted like those of a cornered animal, ready to flee. "It's okay," Lucas reassured her, raising his hands. "I'm his father. I just saw what you were doing." She relaxed, albeit slightly, and nodded slowly. "I didn't mean any harm, sir." He looked lonely. "I come here sometimes to think. I didn't know anyone else was around." Lucas knelt beside Eli, who gleamed with pride. "Daddy, I walked. Leia helped me." Once again, Lucas looked at her. She had a thin frame, hollow cheeks, and eyes that carried more pain and wisdom than any child should possess. A wave of shame washed over him. Despite all his wealth and power, it had taken a homeless child to teach his son what no specialist ever could. "Where are your parents?" "Leia," he asked gently. She looked down. "Gone. My mom passed last winter. I've been on my own since. I stay near the shelter sometimes, but it's full. It's usually safer out here." Lucas's heart shattered. "How long have you been like this?" he inquired. "Almost a year. But I'm okay. I don't steal. I find odd jobs. Help people. I just don't like feeling invisible." That night, Lucas couldn't shake off the image of Leia's face. She haunted him. He thought of her tucking Eli's jacket around his small form, guiding his steps, and the tenderness in her touch. Despite her harsh life, how could a girl who'd lost everything still find a way to give? The next morning, Lucas returned to the playground, hoping to find her. She wasn't there, nor was she there the following day. Days turned into a week. Then, one rainy afternoon, he spotted her curled up under a bus shelter. Shivering, he approached her with an umbrella and a warm coat. She looked up wearily but smiled when she recognized him. "I've been looking for you," he said. "Come with me. You helped my son. Allow me to help you." She hesitated. "Why? Just because I helped Eli?" "No," Lucas replied. "Because you reminded me of what true strength looks like, and because no child should have to endure what you have." It took some convincing, but Leia ultimately agreed. He took her home, provided her with her own room, meals, and clothes. He hired counselors and tutors. Gradually, Leia began to blossom. She was sharp, kind, and incredibly resilient. Months slipped by, and Eli began to walk with newfound confidence, always wanting Leia by his side. They became inseparable siblings in spirit, if not by blood. Lucas watched them, his heart fuller than it had been in years. One evening, as the sun set behind their estate, Leia stood beside Lucas on the balcony, watching Eli chase butterflies in the garden. "Thank you," she said softly. Lucas shook his head. "No, Leia. I should be thanking you. You changed my son's life and mine. You reminded me of what truly matters." Her eyes filled with tears. "I used to feel as if the world forgot me. But now I feel seen." Lucas placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You're not just seen, Leia. You're cherished. You're part of this family. And you always will be." Years later, Leia stood on the stage of a prestigious university, the valedictorian of her class. In the audience, Lucas and Eli sat in the front row, pride radiating from their eyes. In her speech, Leia said, "Once, I was a little girl with nowhere to go. But one act of kindness changed everything. When we give, when we see others not as burdens, but as blessings, we create miracles. I know because I was one of them." And somewhere in the crowd, a tear rolled down Lucas Sterling's cheek. What he had once discovered in a broken playground, he now witnessed in full bloom before the world. A reminder that sometimes the smallest hands can ignite the greatest change. And that love, in its purest form, asks for nothing and gives everything. The audience erupted in thunderous applause. In that moment, the story of a homeless girl and a lonely boy became a legacy of hope that would inspire generations to come.